I think it's because you're approaching this as though you think Bill De Blasio shares the same values you do. You think he cares about people. You think he cares about kids. You think he cares about the homeless. I don't think he does.
That's his job.
I think absolutely it is. But I think he cares about himself. He cares about ideology. He cares about enriching his family. You look at his wife. What did she get? A $2 million staff budget? When the city is being shut down and people are losing their jobs, his wife's got a staff total of like $2 million a year. What does she have, like an artist or something? Someone like paints for her? Yeah, this is like, it's what kind of government is it? What do you call it? Is it when you've got the rich people?
He collects rent, by the way.
Plutocracy.
I think so.
The wealthy take control. They strip away the rights of the poor. They enrich themselves and they laugh about it. They laugh in your face. They watch the city burn, and they're doing it, I can only imagine, on purpose. You can't have all these riots sweeping through the city and then Bill De Blasio cheers for the protests. And across this country, we see the same thing. In Michigan, we see it in California. They march with the protesters. They cheer for it after they burn everything down.
Right.
Kamala Harris asks for donations for rioters. Then she comes out recently saying, oh, the poor small business. What do you mean? You have to bail out the people who destroyed those businesses. It's crazy to me that from the start with COVID and the lockdowns, 15 days to slow the spread. We all agreed. Turned into what? Well,
a month,
10
2
months.
months. He's
now the businesses are destroyed. But you know what's crazy? You get a lot of businesses, a lot of perishables, food, restaurants. They were gone first. But what happened to the hard goods stores? All these stores that sold shirts, clothing, branded gear, skateboards, electronics. Well, they were fine, right? They could stay shut down until this all ended. And then the riots happened. Smashed all the windows, stole all the stuff, ripped these businesses off. That finished them off. Then Kamala Harris bails them out. Many of these leftist Democrats bail these people out, cheer for it. The politicians, the governors, the mayors march with these people. Then, finally, things are calming down. What happens? Well, we get an election. They announce Joe Biden's the winner. They all come out, dance in the street, celebrating. And it says, people of the world take notice. Americans dance in the street celebrating. And then a week, not even a week later, 3 days later, they're like, people start traveling for Thanksgiving, shocking the world.
Right.
These are the news stories that we get.
Right. All of a sudden, COVID is back. They're telling me now, I'm here in Maryland. When I go back to New York, there's going to be people at the bridges, and they're going to make me sign a thing and take a COVID test. When the sheriff pulls me over, I'm going to tell him to kiss my fat behind, and he can take my test when he finishes licking it. That's what I'm going to tell him. Nobody's going to tell me what to do. Mayor De Blasio's daughter was arrested for protesting, too.
Yep.
She got out on a desk appearance ticket, which was like 2 hours later. Me, for the same thing that I did, I had to sit overnight in jail. His wife loses $1.25 billion. No questions asked. A couple of years ago, about a year or two ago, we had a big police investigation and corruption. A couple of them were arrested. Some personal bribed police. There was some private. It was a Jewish guy, matter of fact, from my community, was one of the leaders of this criminal act, very close to De Blasio, and everybody was accusing. And he himself testified on the stand against other people, and he testified that De Blasio got money. Blasio wasn't touched. Wasn't arrested, not investigated.
Wow.
Don't worry about it. When I get into city council, babies, I'm going to investigate. I'm going to bring it back. He thinks he's going to get away with it. Never he's going to get away with it. So, guys, I am getting into city council. I don't know how. I don't know how I'm going to do it, but I'm going to try. I'm here because I'm not going to sit back. I'm not going to allow them to, and I'm going to repeat this over and over to you till it gets through everybody's head. I tell everybody, watch my show, Just Enough Heshy Show, Wednesday night, 9 o'clock. I keep repeating it. I want people to get it into their head. You can't hurt another person. It's a shame what they do to the little people. And Tim, I want you to come with me one day in my neighborhood to some of the homes that I visit. They don't have anything.
I can't go to New York. They'll quarantine me.
Well, we're going to trace all your family members too. But I see people that when we deliver food on a Friday package, and my boxes, the city was giving away free food. You should have seen it. They gave a box with a dirty bucket of yogurt, a brown banana, and some cereal. This is what you give to a family. My boxes have chicken. I can't do more. We do only 137 families, but there's other people that do more families. We have such good volunteers. America, and I love America. I love America with everything that my blood runs red, white, and blue. But again, America has its issues. We have a lot of sin and corruption, and if you believe in God, He would have punished us. He should have punished us. But the greatest thing of this country, why God won't touch us, why God has rewarded us, we do the most chesed, we call it in Jewish, the most charity, the most generosity in this world. Every city, every place where you go, there are charities, from Red Cross to doctors doing freebies, people giving food. That's why I tell it to the young people, you think you have to do big things, you have to change the world, and it's so good when they do. I love when they do, these young people. And I go to different ethnic communities, and I see these young children trying, and they're doing great stuff, helping children. Go take in a kid and study with them for an hour. Go visit an old person once a week. Go into the nursing home. That's what I do. I have one lady I visit once a week. She's so happy when I get there for that hour, you wouldn't believe it. It's like a different world for me and her. Bring a bottle of milk to some old person that needs it, or to a young family. My box lasts my people till Sunday, and I know, and I'm telling you the truth, Tim, and I'm embarrassed to tell you that they scrounge and they skim a little bit of the food, and they have children. Some of these people have 3-4 kids, so they try to make it last till Monday, Tuesday, and I tell them not to. It's wrong, because we know you need a real meal. You need a real breakfast. You need a piece of chicken. You can't just have a leg and think that it's good enough. You need to give the kid a sandwich. You know, my kid came home from school. I paid my tuition. I have private school for my kids. It's called the yeshiva. That's what it's, a regular school. And my kid came home one day and he said, Pop, didn't have lunch. I said, what does that mean? We paid for everything. And my tuition is for $10 a day for the kid. And I called up the school screaming and hollering, and they say, well, you didn't pay his lunch. I said, what are you talking about? I have the receipts. Oh, we made a mistake between your kid and another kid. I said, so another kid is not going to eat? I mean, is that your answer to me? I said, so I went to the school and I spoke to the parents of my kids' class, and we saw that there were 3 kids that couldn't afford the lunch program, and we put together the money. It only was like $3 a day for all of us parents, whatever, and we made sure that those kids had the food. This is what other people do to other people. It's unacceptable. This great country, this wonderful land, we've built, you know, after the revolution, how we helped our neighbors build our homes, how we rebuilt America. Yeah, Civil War was bad, but again, Abraham Lincoln stopped it. Told everybody, no, go home. We're buddies again. Stop it. And we built this nation back, piece by piece, brick by brick. We went to World War II and we defended the rest of the world. Not once, twice. You know, I want to tell you a funny story. Not really funny for me. It's a serious story. I have a cousin called Getzel Schwartz. He passed away about 2 years ago. Maybe a little bit more. And I'm sure you've seen the movie Inglourious Bastards.
Oh, yeah.
So you think this movie is a fake movie. It's a true movie except for the ending. My cousin lost 10 members of his family, wiped out in the war, killed. And he and his father survived, and they made it to America. He couldn't speak English, but he was a big, tough, you know, these big, tough, built European guys. And my mother made it to America with 10 of her. She only lost 2. My father lost most of his family except for a sister and another sister that couldn't have children. She was operated on. But Getzel came alone. And he came to America right at the beginning of the war. And what do you do with him? He couldn't speak English, so he joined the army. And he was a Jewish guy, was a little prejudicial back then, so they made him a paratrooper to jump behind enemy lines. I figured, you know, the Jew boy will be dead, no time. This monster of a man jumped mission after mission after mission behind enemy lines. And I sat there as a little 6-year-old boy with my cousins, the girls, telling us stories how he got behind Nazi lines, cutting their throats, stabbing them, going back out. And we listened to his stories, and they were true. Because he had friends that lived it. It was a monster. At 70 years old, he was still doing 100 push-ups in his underwear, built like an animal. At the end of the war, he had medals like you never saw before. I've seen them. And he found a sister that survived. He got to the concentration camp almost in time. They killed her 4 days before.
Wow.
He had a mental breakdown. He went into town. He took his gun and started shooting Germans.
Whoa.
And they, of course, grabbed him, court-martialed him. But he's a hero. Medals up to a zoo. So they dishonorably discharged him, or honorably discharged him. He got a pension, and he left the army, and he went home. He married a beautiful woman.
Yikes. And
what he did was he went with his wife to Israel. And it happened to be 1945, 1946, when again Israel became a state, 1948, and the war broke out. What do you think this crazy man did? He joined the Israeli army.
Wow.
Became a hero. Was a big-time hero. He had a house in Israel, a house in America, 2 pensions, back and forth, good-looking man. And every time I saw him, I couldn't believe him. When that movie Inglourious Bastards came out, I said, this is my cousin. This is one of the boys.
I'm confused, though. You're saying that you had family, that you lost family in the Holocaust.
Yeah.
but you're a Donald Trump supporter. I was told by the left that Trump is literally Hitler and he's a fascist.
Oh, please. I mean, come on. I mean, I'm from New York City. He has people in low-income families that he lets live for free, or he helps out. His charities, everybody messes up. Everybody's a businessman. Everybody screws up. Everybody makes mistakes. He has got a team around him. Could talk to him about his accounting. The man is the boss. The boss puts out work. People make mistakes. I like Donald Trump. I believe he's an honorable man. He's done more in one day of his life than I will ever do in the next 10 years.
You're from New York City?
Yeah, Brooklyn, New York.
Lived there your whole life?
All my life.
You were there in the 80s when Donald Trump came in and started taking the city back.
That's right. I saw him build that rink when he told Koch, you're building a skating rink for 6 years. You can't finish it. The man came in a few months and finished it under budget. Wow. Stop it, guys. Stop it. I don't know what you're telling me. Because the guy knows how to pitch his product, because he's a great salesman. Wow, I am proud of him. And when he ran for president, I couldn't believe it. I said, why? Why would he do it? And I'll tell you why.
They're going to tear him apart.
I don't care. He didn't care. He did it, and this is why I believe he deserved a second term. He took the ridicule. I mean, come on, Tim. Russian collusion? You believe that the president of the United States is a Russian spy? I mean, did you actually believe Obama was a jihadist, you know? I mean, you guys are crazy. I mean, we're crazy sometimes the way we think. But you actually, for 2 years, I'm watching this. He's a Russian spy. We're going to impeach him because he actually is Russia. Flynn cooperated with really, it's a shame what they did. And they wasted $40 million. This guy Mueller is an idiot. I mean, he doesn't deserve to even have a license or to be even respected. Nadler, my little fat, I'm not going to call him a name. I know, Tim, you're going to kill me. But I have so many good names to say. If you let me say it, Tim, you'd make me happy. I'll give you $1. I have $10 in my pocket. You only get $1. I need $9 for those tolls. Right, guys? $9. Anyways, so I hate this little Nadler man. And he's did you ever see him when he got up on the stage? Incompetent, the way he spoke, the way he pitched his case. I mean, it didn't make sense. And then they voted against party lines. Only one idiot switched sides, Romney. I mean, impossible. And you knew you weren't going to convict him. So you wasted another $10, $15 million in the whole country's time. Why? Again, Tim, somebody's got to explain it to me. I don't understand.
There's a series now. I guess it's called Empires of New York.
Yeah.
Have you seen it? I haven't seen it. It's like it's praises Donald Trump. Is that my understanding? Talks about how he like rebuilt the city and came in. I saw a documentary a year or so ago that it was about. I think it was an old documentary. It was about the 80s, and New York was crime infested. The trains were riddled with graffiti. People were scared. People were getting robbed. And then,
robbed. You walk down Williamsburg. We have a section now in Williamsburg which was very high priced now. To buy a piece of apartment is $1,000 a square foot.
Oh yeah.
When you walk there, as when I was a kid, if you weren't raped, robbed, stabbed, or you made it out alive, really didn't make a difference, woman or man, you are lucky. I had two brothers who had a warehouse there. The father had a warehouse, a little shoe company. They used to sneak in, and all the ladies of the evening, I don't want to say the bad word, were there. And it was like, they told me they couldn't get for their building maybe a few $1,000s. When all this fancy high-priced stuff went, I mean, it was so bad there. Now they got millions of dollars. They sold it now to the yuppies.
Oh, yeah.
But we've rebuilt the city. Donald Trump, he's a businessman. He has to make a profit. Don't get me wrong. I sometimes don't agree with all his policies. But he gave jobs. He gave you a chance to make a living. You wanted to be a millionaire? Well, don't work for him. But he gave you a chance to at least to pay your bills. And that is what this great city about. Somebody else can make money. He gives you an opportunity. Take your opportunity. And if you don't like it, go away. You know, I have many guys that I've worked for that abused or knocked me or tried to cut my prices or didn't let me make $1. I said, hey, man, I have a right to leave you or I have a right to take the job. I don't do business that way. I make sure both sides are correct. I like it that way. I make a little bit less. Let the other person have a life.
When Trump started running, I went and covered a bunch of the Trump rallies. And I went down, and I think one of the things that definitely insulated me from the Trump derangement syndrome media was, first, Trump starts doing rallies. I go and I actually met Trump supporters, talked to a bunch of regular people. And then all of a sudden I hear from the left that Trump supporters are all crazy, violent, rednecks. And I'm like, oh, no, I met a lot of these people like regular people. And then the other issue was that I went to Trump Tower. And I've been to Trump Tower several times living in New York, even before Trump was talking about running or anything like that. And then, you know, you go to the ice cream shop, you go downstairs. I've gone to the restaurant, you get a nice Trump steak or whatever, the Trump bottled water. And when Trump was, getting smeared and attacked in the media, I went to Trump Tower and I just, went to, you go down the escalator. They got the ice cream shop right there in New York. And I asked, I was like, so you guys know Trump? And they're like, yeah, he comes down every so often. And I was like, what do you think? Cool dude? And they're like, oh, that guy's great. They tell me stories about how Trump would come down and drop $100 bill in their tip jar, all that kind of stuff.
He's a good guy.
And so I'm like, I think he's got a mouth for sure.
I'm sorry. This is America. I'm allowed to say anything I want. I keep forgetting the First Amendment, the Second Amendment, the Fifth Amendment. We got a lot of amendments for a reason.
Yeah.
He's allowed to say anything he wants, except if he's on YouTube. You can't. I heard that. I got that. But do you know what's painted, by the way, when you went to Trump Tower, right there in front of Trump Tower? Do you ever see what was
Black
painted?
Lives Matter.
Now, to paint your sidewalk curb cut, you know what that is? When you go up into your driveway, that little curb cut, to paint it yellow is illegal in the city of New York. If you do it, it's $1,000 fine. Serious. God forbid to paint your sidewalk or to block no parking. Mayor De Blasio painted Black Lives Matter on an entire block and not 2 blocks. How do you do that? And during COVID, illegally. During COVID, he's the mayor. He can do whatever he wants. So, of course, somebody in my community, I don't know who, was running around Borough Park painting yellow All Lives Matter for a couple of days.
Oh, wow.
I wasn't sure he was. They said he was a chubby guy with his shirt untucked, but it wasn't me.
It wasn't you, no.
I think it was Linda, my wife.
Thanks for checking out this clip from the Timcast IRL podcast. We do the show live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m., so come back to check us out when we go live. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the like button, hit the notification bell, and we are also available on all podcast platforms for free if you want to listen to us there. Thanks for hanging out, and we will see you all next time.